Hello, today I have a short video explaining a bit about why some artists might not appreciate being called talented. It's something that's rubbed me the wrong way for a while before I even realized why, and originally I was just going to talk about why it bothers me in particular, but I looked into it and found that a lot of artists feel the same way. Just a disclaimer, I'm not mad at anyone who's ever said I had talent, or that I got my ability to draw from my mom. I know that people who say that kind of thing are trying to be supportive, and I'm mostly talking about how people perceive art in general. So, about talent, I find the term a little annoying, especially when applied to my art. Usually people who say someone is talented are not well versed in the subject, and there's a reason for that, I guess, at least when it comes to my stuff specifically. It feels like when you say someone is talented, it's usually accompanied by, "I could never," which is not true. Normally it takes years of practice, and you never really stop practicing, but you can learn to draw. Heck, it might be easier to learn as an adult and learn properly, so you have to spend less time unlearning bad habits. Anyone can learn to draw, and if you don't want to learn how to draw in the traditional sense, you can still do art. All it takes is wanting to express something. That's all art really is. The main thing you need to do is practice. Lots and lots of practice. And to get that practice in, you might need passion. You'll need the determination to stick with it, even when nothing is turning out how you want. And that's what gets people. It's too easy to quit. To tell yourself that you've been wasting your time. I think that's why more people don't even try. I could make a whole video on motivation and why you should just go for it, like why people do art in the first place. Maybe another day. It just seems like there's this misconception among non-artists the person either can or can't draw, like it's hereditary. Sure, my mom can draw, but I didn't get it from her, I learned it. So that's why it rubs me the wrong way when I see people calling me or other artists talented. I know it usually comes from a good place, but at the same time it's kind of discrediting the hours and years the artists put into their work. It's a lot of technical learning too. You have to learn how to see something properly, even if you're not doing realism. There's all sorts of stuff you have to learn and intentionally practice to be competent at it. My art is mediocre, but it does what it needs to do. And I'm finally at a place where I think it looks good for myself and other people. And even that took me years. Years of drawings that I look back on and wonder why anyone even did art trades. So those artists who do incredibly dynamic pieces with that breathtaking lighting, how many hours of anatomy study do you think that took? How much lighting theory and practice, all for it to be implied that they can do that because they have talent, that they're just lucky to be born with it? And this applies to all types of art, or just things people are good at in general, but I think it's especially relevant to creative works. Something like metalworking, everyone knows that needs skill and practice. It's obvious that no one was born knowing that. Some people are talented, but there are still so many skills, like things that make it a bit faster, things like good eye-hand coordination, a good eye for shape, stuff like that. It can be hereditary, but you can just as easily learn those things. And there are people who are truly talented, think Mozart, but it's more of an Einstein thing versus just anyone who can learn multiplication. Again, I'm not upset with anyone who says this. I'm sure it isn't even an issue with most people, and a compliment is a compliment. It comes from the right place. But it still seems important to acknowledge the amount of effort and work it took. It's not always fun, and it's definitely not easy or something you can do in a day. Anyway, thanks for watching my video. I'll probably be doing more content like this more regularly. It's mostly just to get this stuff off my mind. That's why I started doing YouTube in the first place, partially. But my setup's quite a bit different than when I was posting regularly, so things will be a bit wonky for a while. Anyway, if you want more art-related discussion topics, or are interested in video games that I'm going to be posting about in the near future, just like and subscribe, and maybe leave a comment if you want to chat.